I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Woo! Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this Wednesday, September 17th, 2025. It's a little after 9:10 p.m. Eastern if you're watching live. And number one, I want to apologize about not being here last night. I had some things I was working on, and just couldn't get it going. Couldn't get the thing going in time, and so we canceled out last night. We're here tonight. This is actually my last night. The show will be on tomorrow. Katherine will be here as the guest host, the fill-in host tomorrow. And tonight will act as kind of a springboard into that. She'll be here. Producer Kate will be here. They'll be running things in my absence, in my stead. Thursday night will be the end of the show or end of the week, then Friday, Saturday, and I'll be back Sunday, but I'm going to be out of commission, out of service for a few days. Thank God. I just literally 10 or 15 minutes ago took a massive fall onto some cement. I was walking down some steps and completely missed the second step and tumbled straight forward, hitting both of my knees on the cement, my ribs that I broke a couple years ago, so that they're sore. My hands, my knees, my head. I had bumped my head, so I'm a little discombobulated at the moment. But really, I'm just kind of on vacation mode. I'm on holiday mode. I'm going away, and I'm not here really. So because of the fall and everything going on, I've had to call in Katherine. We're going to be joined by Katherine here in just a few moments. Our contributing correspondent, wonderful friend, Dr. Katherine Callahan. She's going to be on, and she's going to be talking with us. We're going to be talking, I'm sure, about some Madison County things. But we're going to be talking things kind of on a broad level. I think the name of the show is Bullying Bullies, and the Bullied Bulls, they bull, and Katherine. Look, I'm on autopilot. I go on vacation tomorrow, so we're just trying to get through tonight. Katherine will be here, and I promise you, I make you this promise, because tomorrow, I think the last time I went on vacation, the bastards of politics blew up. That was the last vacation I took. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but it's been a minute, so I'm kind of like it's like senioritis, or like, the last week of school before summer vacation. I'm just kind of on autopilot, so I called Katherine in to help us to have Kate help keep me straight. We're just going to be talking about some things. We're going to be talking about local politics, some state politics, maybe some national politics, possibly. So it's going to be a ride. Before we get started, I do want to say that I was made aware, tonight's Wednesday. There's a little known podcast. I think it's mostly a racing podcast. A lot of people don't know it. It talks about racing. Sometimes they talk about condiments, like purple ketchup and things, called the Boss Hogs of Liberty, down in Newcastle in Henry County. And they're normally on Tuesday nights. Tuesday or Thursday nights. I don't really know. It's one of the T nights. But tonight's Wednesday, and I noticed they were on. And I don't ever watch them unless somebody says, hey, you need to watch them. Unless something that I need to know about. Like if the one night out of the 365 days a year, they don't talk about racing and they talk about something political or newsworthy. And I just happened to be going through some things, scrolling, and I happened to see that Sheriff John Sproles was their guest tonight. And I'm going to talk about this on... Oh, my phone is dead. I can't talk about this. I'm going to talk about this on when we come back. But I've told you guys that the FBI, or not the FBI, sorry, the federal, my head's a little, maybe I'm having a stroke or a concussion. No, I told you that the federal lawsuit has wrapped up in our case. And there was a newspaper article down in Newcastle back on August 20th or August 30th, one of those days. And it's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. So we'll talk about that. But then I also want to talk about the sheriff's performance or lack of performance on this podcast, The Boss Hogs of Liberty. But one of the funniest things, and I just cannot let it wait, is he was talking about his other job where he builds churches. And this is the sheriff's mentality. Listen to this. This is a public servant, a so-called public servant. Remember, this man is the leader of the sheriff's department. He's the top cop as far as the sheriff's department goes. He was the elected sheriff. He's only been a police officer for about 5 years. So he's not like been on the department for like 20 years and now he's doing his term as sheriff. Now, he's very new. He's the FNG. He's the elected FNG. All right, listen to me. This guy literally said to the host, you know, when I'm going out and building churches and someone calls me and they want me to come build a church for them and they don't hire me, I tell them, don't worry. God's not going to be mad at me because you didn't hire me. Now, he might not like you because you didn't hire me. That is the mentality of this dude. If you as a church don't hire me, the great one, God is going to look down upon you. What? Maybe they just didn't like the style, John. Maybe they just don't like the fact that you are loose with money and that you're basically in bankruptcy all the time and you don't know if you're pitching or catching and they just don't like you. It doesn't have, God is not involved with that, dude. God is not going to look down upon the church if you're not the anointed one, bro. Relax. And that's just so telling because that's how he runs the sheriff's department. That's how he runs his life. He literally believes that he is the one out here walking on water. And I think, bro, you need a little bit of a pull back there, GQ Johnny. So it's just ridiculous. We'll listen to that. We'll talk about that. That'll give you something to look forward to next week when we return on Sunday. But without further ado, we're going to bring up our guest. Somebody called me and said, hey, I'm happy that you're having Katherine on tonight. And then I literally got a text message that said, oh, Katherine, well, I'm not tuning in. It goes both ways. You love her, you hate her. You hate to love her, and you love to hate her. It's Katherine.
Listen, was it David who called you and said, Katherine's on?
It
Well,
was
that's all right. And the
real
thing
life
is,
people. These were real life people. A real life person that was excited that you were on, and a real life people that was not excited. And so,
it was probably Grandma that said she was excited I was coming on tonight.
No, because I wouldn't. That's like Grandma's a real life person, but I mean like someone that doesn't doesn't count for like family or somebody that knows us, like just
wow.
someone out in the wild.
Well, I'm
was
just
happy.
flattered.
And the same could be said of me too. That's the thing. That's absolutely the truth.
Well, I know you want to end this show tonight with some discussion about Charlie Kirk. Is that right?
That's the only thing that we can talk about from this point forward, right?
Okay. Well, no, I'm fine with
But
that.
yeah,
But when we get to that point, I have this post that I made kind of about Charlie Kirk. Do you know there's something going on up in Fort Wayne that's going to have some like Kyle Pierce is going to be there and they're going to talk all about this. Have you heard about this?
No, I have no clue what you're talking about.
So they're going to do this. Allen County GOP is going to do this celebration of life for Charlie Kirk.
That's good. So is Indianapolis.
You want me to tell you who the speakers are?
Yeah, tell me.
Well, it's got this chick, which, Kiesling. And then it's got...
Wait. What? Tell me exactly their names.
What is it? Lena Kiesling?
Yeah. Okay.
And then it's got Todd Rokita.
Okay.
And then we have special guest. I'll be discussing the importance of civil discourse and free speech to our democracy and future by no one else but Kyle Pierce. So I have something I want to say about all that.
It's when you send that's like the definition of the foxes guarding the hen house, or it's like that's who they have these people snowed, man. Nobody gives a shit. All right, whatever. Like, what a way to ruin the Charlie Kirk. Like,
Listen, there are people really mad about this. Like,
you could bring the guy that shot him, and like shot Kirk. Well, I can't think of that would be the only other way that you would ruin the event more is you bring the people that hate him, or you bring the people that hate the First Amendment and that hate discourse. They will not allow themselves to be held accountable. Though, like Kyle Pierce.
Yeah. So
I got nothing to hear from you. You've got nothing that you can tell me.
Well, the thing is, and that's kind of what I want to talk about after his behavior and his wife's behavior on social media. I'm thinking these two are the last two who should ever be speaking about anything. So I've been kind of holding that all day. And I thought, well, I'm going to talk to you about this because it's an issue.
Not good to hold it.
So
wait. Did you hear that his wife has been selected for the prestigious Luger series?
I have heard a lot of his wife stroking a lot to get to the top. Their goal is for him to be like governor one day. And so that just is even more comical. I think his career is on a fast track to crash and burn, if you ask me. So this shall be a very interesting election. I hope people run against him. I hope that people come out. I hope that people challenge what he has to say. I think there is a lot to be said about she says her name is Agnos or whatever. I call it Agony and Pierce team. I think there's just a lot to be said about that.
I thought it was Anus, but I'm
her name fits her well. I understand why she wanted to keep it over Pierce. So I get it. I want to share that post with everybody from this show. And I've kind of been messing with it all day. I know Nicole's been doing a lot today and putting out a lot of receipts based on his behavior on social media and especially his wife's behavior on social media. So thought you'd find that an interesting tidbit. So, and I just want everybody to know that I feel like I've been divorced from Chris because I can't see anybody's comments now. So I can't really
listen to me what I'm telling you, and
So
I
this is what
told
I
you this
told
beforehand. You every so often you
right?
have to go back in and
It's
redo the
okay.
thing. Kate, is that not right? Oh, she can't see you shaking your head, so
Yeah,
never mind.
that's
But
okay.
yes, periodically
So
you have to go in and do some work, and you don't know how to do it, so that's why you're where you're at.
well,
We'll
and
have to deal with it
and here's
afterwards.
the thing. That's why when Chris called me and told me it fell, I'm like, well, just throw some dirt on it and get going. I mean,
Yeah, right.
so, but no, we've had a lot going on in Madison County. I don't know who's watching tonight or who's here, but it's been quite the show in Madison County. I don't know that I've seen more lying, cheating, and stealing. And you know what's even more interesting? The more pressure you begin to apply, they're all starting to do it to each other now. So, that was kind of an amazing situation. We've got a huge dispatch issue that was a big issue 2, 3 years ago for non-payment, kind of died, kind of went away. Everybody just thought it was a moot point. And now suddenly it has reared its ugly head. So that's been interesting to see. And so we want to look at that, and
Well,
then we want to talk. Yeah.
Well, I don't mean to interrupt you here. Because I like to get to questions when we can. And this really has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but maybe you can help this person. Yeah, we're going to talk about that too. I've got some thoughts about that too, Cindy. The Madison County, the Anderson's Community School Corporation superintendent. I've got some thoughts, and people are going to be shocked. Maybe I don't know. We'll go through it. I have the actual email that he sent out. If this is the one that people are talking. Now, I sent out a record request for all emails sent in this period, so we'll see. But I have one that these people are alluding to. This is the one that they're talking about, and it's a little bit different than what I was originally led to believe. But this person says, can anyone tell me who to call besides the mayor of Anderson and the Parks Department goofs as to see when the park in the Meadowbrook area in Anderson might be replaced? They both don't know shit and lie to people. I guess I saw the question before I actually read it. I don't know who you would call besides those people.
Okay, so
And I don't even know anything about
we
that.
don't have a parks superintendent. So
did they resign, or you never have?
No, they haven't been able to replace it for 2 years. Never tell me who to call besides the mayor and the Parks Department goofs as to see when the park in the Meadowbrook area in Anderson might be replaced. They both don't know shit in life. Okay, so whoever you are, Sue's soul sister, if you're comfortable and you can send me that in Messenger, I will look into that tomorrow for you. I will see if I can get you an answer. I'm not promising anything, but I will see if I can get an answer on that.
And if they don't feel comfortable, I will.
Yeah, you can send it to Chris.
you.
Yeah, and
I'll send it to you. And then, Soul Sister, if you watch back here tomorrow night, I'm going to be gone, but Katherine will be here running the show by herself. And if she can get you an answer by tomorrow night, then you'll have an answer. See how we do people around here?
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with me trying to figure out who somebody is. It's just that I will forget by the end of tonight, and then I'll go see patients all day tomorrow, and
I'll send it to you.
My mind. So
I'll
as long as I can get that, I will look into it. So I kind of we didn't really have a plan for tonight. So
yes, Soul Sister, on our Facebook page. Go ahead.
I just sent you an email, and maybe we should start the show with this. So I don't know if anybody watched the commissioners meeting yesterday. Dave Sargent was so kind, and Lisa Mullins was kind to go over and video that. And in the last 22 minutes, at the 22-minute mark of the commissioners, they begin to, should I say, fumble around with their words as if they've put no thought process into this, as if Richwine is a bumbling, I don't know, fool that can't get his words out all of a sudden. What was even more interesting is it's right at the end of the meeting, and somebody asks him, can you speak into the mic? Now, this is the very last part of the meeting. And he's like, "Oh, my mic isn't on." Now, he's been doing this for how long? I'm constantly saying, "Hey, can you speak up?" So let me send that to you in Messenger. It's like a minute and 59 seconds, Christopher, of
You're fine.
see here.
I was like, where? You sent me an email where? I don't see it.
Okay, so I sent you an email to your private email. Now I'm sending you a messenger. I'm sending you if we can just listen to that, and that'll roll into I was able to get a copy of the letter that's been sent to Alexandria and to Elwood. And
You
so
sent me a private email to khbilbrey@gmail.com.
yeah, but I'll just put
Like,
it
I
in.
don't have it there.
All right, I'll put it in Facebook. But if you want to show the minute clip from the actual
I have
commissioners,
nothing from you.
it's not in Messenger.
Oh,
Really?
really? Just to me privately? Did you send it? There we go.
Yeah,
There
the
we go.
video I
No,
sent to
you
you
didn't send
private.
it privately.
The video I sent to you privately.
Oh,
Here, I'll send it. Do you got it? So I'm amazed at they've had all this time to prepare for this whatever they think they're going to do to Alexandria, which is like a moot point, people. I don't understand where they even think they have a case to take up with Alexandria or with Elwood at this point. I did post the original agreement. So, did you get that video, Christopher?
nope.
Well, then you could go to Citizens for a New Morgue
And
and
by here,
Coroner's
I'm looking to
Office.
see. Hold on. I'm looking to see if I can pull it up.
You want me to tag you on it?
Yeah. Do something.
All right, let me see.
Looking
All
here.
right, there's the video. You just want to go to the 22-minute mark.
We got a bunch of things to talk about here.
So this is kind of
going on. All right, here I've got it now. That just came through in Messenger. Give me a second. Go ahead.
Is that you?
It was.
I mean, I do. I feel like we're in Spain running with the bulls. These people are out of literal control. I mean, this has been
Okay, what time period am I going to?
about the 22. It's about 22 and 15 seconds, 22 minutes and 15 seconds. And that's the other thing that amazed me. As much as going on in Madison County, our commissioners make about $50,000 a year with full benefits, and their meetings can't last more than 10 to 20 minutes. I think there's a lot more going on in Madison County than 10 to 20 minutes of
it, dude. That is so amazing how it always seems to happen.
It's just craziness. So, and by the way,
LaRue,
this guy who's walking away, I think he's IT. If you watch that part with him, I don't know how much money he's asking for. He was opening bids and acting like they were sealed. Here's some things when you watch that, it was amazing to me that every time he opened a bid, it went in chronological order. This one was this like 100,000. This one was 200,000. This one was a 300. I don't know how he got it so right. It must just have been luck or something.
Dumb luck. We're going to talk about that too, LaRue.
So that was crazy.
Right, here we go. You said 22:15.
Yeah, listen to this here.
The last item on the agenda today was dispatch related. Last week we had a request of.
Can you speak up, sir?
Sorry, that went on. Yeah, last week we had a request of county council to put in our budget to prop up dispatch services if funds were depleted to the point that we would need them. And we have got to that point without Wood and Alexandria participating in their portion of the payment for dispatch services. That being said, we've worked on trying to resolve that issue with non-success, and part of the executive sessions that we've met in passing memorandum of understandings. We're with Ted Nolding, who has represented us and one of his partners on this issue in the past. And they prepared with the county commissioners letters to go out to those communities that have not paid. And due to the threat of litigation, that's why we were able to meet in an executive session. We just make a motion simply that we accept these letters as presented to us and went through the process and prepared those with Ted, and that they be delivered accordingly to those folks, which would include elder. Any other discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
I mean, there's a deer in the headlights.
Those in favor say aye.
So there we are again with
So Mr. Strange.
nobody really knows what's going on. With this. Now, here's the thing. The funny thing is these guys, these commissioners, I mean, the meeting's over. They haven't talked to Alexandria or Elwood in some time. I didn't know there were all these executive meetings going on. I would be interested to see where those were even posted over the last 2 or 3 years. So it's kind of an interesting concept here of now they get a letter. So what happened was it was like, surprise, here is a letter that we haven't talked about this subject in a year and a half or 2. So the letter I've sent to you in your in Messenger there, but I if you look at my Facebook post, I don't know, I sent it to you in Messenger as well. I just want, for people who haven't seen my Facebook page, I want you to know that I put up the original contract between Elwood and Madison County. Now, understand that it's very similar to Alexandria's, just with the changing of the towns. I've also had the city of Anderson's. It's pretty similar. They're all very similar. So I just want you to know that, again, we come to the table, and if the mayors do not pay what they are supposed to pay, what they have decided to do is they are going to cut off 911 services to those areas. Well, I'm just here to tell you, if they cut off services, the first officer that gets hurt because everybody's scrambling, the first baby that's born on the side of the road and nobody's showing up, the first rape, the first beating on the new park trail, any of these things happen, this will be an epic disaster for Madison County. I mean, it'll bankrupt the county. I mean, and honestly, at that point, you might as well just call malfeasance, because Rich Wine is such a buffoon. There's no other way. I hear people all the time saying to me, I can't believe you're calling them names. Well, what would you like me to call them? It's not me calling them names.
You're calling them names.
It's the truth of, like, their brain has to be the size of a pea. I mean, has anybody looked around? Rich Wine has been in seat now, and I blame this on the taxpayers. For this is what he'll be at 28 years at the end of this term. Everything he has touched in this county has turned into an epic disaster. We have no money. All we have are a raising of taxes. So, I mean, and that's how Rich Wine does.
But it's kind of like shadow, like Carl Jung and shadow work and things, where they say that, for as much light out this way, darkness back this way comes. It's like for every bad thing that the county has, the better his life has gotten. So throughout that 28 years, like everything he touches turns to shit.
He's got new boats.
It's like Yeah,
cash
he's
deals.
living at
Yeah,
large.
he's got paved roads. He's got drains out on his farm that just are amazing. He has no drainage issues. Yeah, I mean that's the whole thing. He's over here milking it for all it's got. I mean, people need to remember when some of you don't like Kelly Gaskell. I do not have a problem with Kelly Gaskell. So she came in, she put in where they couldn't receive any monetary or any gifts, right? The minute she is unseated and Likens and Richwine take it, what's the first thing, first order of business before they do the second thing? The first thing they do is they reinstate that they're allowed to take gifts and perks. That's the first thing they do. The second thing they do is they write off Darlene Likens' son's $150,000 plus lawsuit. So they know what they're doing, and like I said, Richwine, Pratt, Likens, Gardners, they run around this county like they are the bullies in a high school hallway. The amount of bullying that these people have done, not just to other elected officials, but look at the Wyckoffs. Look at all that bullying. Look at how we're going to kick that can down the road. And is anybody awake out there in Madison County? What do? They take their epic disaster of what they've been warned, and then they say, you know what? Now we're going to do a regional utility district. We're going to put that all on the taxpayers.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got another epic disaster. Oh, okay. Let's increase the PSAP. Now we've got this jail.
People don't even know, man.
And we are such horrible money managers, and every part of these buildings we have not kept up with, and so we have no equity, and so we can't even get to loan for the jail. We can't get it off the ground, and it was going to cost us originally $46 million, but because we're such putzes, now, oh, it's no big deal. It's on the taxpayers. Let's just have them open a little bit more. Now the jail's at $110 million. Oh no, wait a minute. It was at $150 million. Oh, wait a minute. Now the taxpayers are really pissed off because it's at $150 million. So now what we're going to do? We're going to go ahead and take off part of the jail and not finish it. And then we're going to finish this section. So now we've got it down to just like right under 100,000, but we're going to slip in an extra 10 there. Now we're at 110 million. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So now what came out last week? Sheriff Beeman, what's he say? Hey guys, we're full to capacity when this new jail opens. So we need to start working on the other part of the jail, which will now take us to like 150 or 160,000. People. You got to show up at these meetings and you got to call, I don't know what else to say, bullshit.
Well, yeah,
That's
absolutely.
the only word I can say at this point because they're feeding you a whole line of it.
Well, and the whole thing of like, oh, I can't believe that you're calling them names. Here's the thing, like everyone's like, oh, the name started with Donald Trump. No, that's nonsense. Naming somebody, calling somebody something and making it kind of like a comical whatever, it's satire. It's political satire, which has been around since the beginning of time. You know what I mean? So it's not new. It's not something crazy. It's not like everyone's like, oh, you got to lower the temperature. We're not out here calling telling people to hurt anyone or do anything crazy, but calling these people, the Dan addicts, or calling them, Richwine a buffoon or whatever is not that big a deal. Relax. It calls people's mind to things. It helps people remember who you're talking about. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. Commissioner Richwine keeps dragging us into agreements. I don't know. I mean, and I anybody who's a Purdue person out here, I don't mean to insult you, but like Richwine's got to go get his money back because Purdue failed him. Okay, I'm just saying, and same for Jessica Baston. She's a Rose-Hulman graduate. They should be embarrassed that they have a graduate like that. And yes, I feel completely comfortable saying that because I can tell you my alma maters have no problem having my name up on the wall. So, but these guys, I don't even know what they're doing. So he keeps dragging us into these agreements that make no sense. His incompetence is steering Madison County straight into a financial disaster. People, I want you to understand. In April, okay, let's back up. In February, so what? We're 2 months into the new year. there becomes a money grab for $5.5 million of interest money on ARPA funds. That money belongs to the entire county, $5.5 million. The commissioners swoop in and they say, hey, that's our money. When Gardner was auditor, he made this his sole purpose because he knew he was going to go after a commissioner. So he put that money away. Instead of spending it on the taxpayers, they held it the entire 3 years to make money off of that, and they made $5.5 million. Now the commissioners want it. Well, the council said, whoa, slow your roll. We're not giving you that because we got that earmarked for other stuff. Now it is in an attorney battle. I have no idea how much that's going to cost. So now they're battling that out. Now remember, Ted Nolting dropped us, and Rich Wine just referred back to Ted Nolting, and he's like, oh, and Nolting was representing us on this, and Nolting was doing that. Well, great. Y'all might like Ted Nolting, but Ted Nolting's the same one who came out, bullied me, told me he was going to charge me with a Class B misdemeanor because I was doing too many autopsies and I didn't have the money appropriated in it. What he failed to do is his homework, in which Indiana code says the coroner's office will have as much money as they need for as many autopsies as they need to find a cause of death. So now
performing autopsies on people that were alive.
He's got egg on his face and he has to pull that. So now they're all mad about that. I don't, it's not my fault that you people can't read. You should try it sometimes. I don't know. There's this fine print that you should probably read. So, then, if they don't get their way, that's what they do. They intimidate you, they bully you. And that's exactly what their MO is. So, but at some point, the people have to stand. Listen, we have seen Rich Wine stand at the podium. We have seen him smack the mic when the commissioners will not give him money, but nobody walks him out.
You mean the council?
The council. Yeah. Nobody walks him out. He's flailing his arms. I mean, watching him yesterday, his blood pressure has to be 200 over 100. I'm telling you right now. I mean, just watching the color change on him is like incredible. I'm waiting for him to turn blue from holding his breath because that's what 2-year-olds do. And that's the thing. And then they'll scare you into silence, right? I mean, their whole big deal with the White House right now, this is what their mentality is. So the commissioners believe that if they can't get this RUD to go through and get this done, they're just going to come in, swoop in, and be like, oh, well, we're just going to condemn the White House because, well, well, here you go, morons. You're the ones that created it. Okay. Yeah. The fines aren't against, Kelly and her husband. The fines are against you morons for not maintaining that drain. So at the end of the day, yeah, you could do that, but you're going to lose your rear end on that because they find you and you guys have failed to do your job. And again, at the end of the day, what this comes down to, Kristopher, who has the better attorney? That's all this ever comes down to. Every single time,
which really that's the second last stop. It really comes down to the money. The money. Who's got the most money? And when the county and the government is like prints the money or they collect the money, it's not their money. It's our money they're spending, your money they're spending. They've got endless supplies of it. Yeah. So they can do whatever the hell they want.
And this is what's so ridiculous, right? What's so ridiculous is it's their screw up and they're using our own tax dollars to fight us, we the people.
Yeah.
I mean, this is why this is so out of control. And so, and we're going to talk about taxes tomorrow and where that whole mess is going, right? But I want people to understand, this is why Madison County has over 110 active lawsuits going on, and they're climbing quickly. Listen, I was in my case, and like, you can just go in there, you can put John Richwine in, or you can put Jeff Grant. I mean, you can put Gardner, you can put Mellinger, you can put whatever you want, right? And there's no real way to look them all up at once. So you have to just be creative when you're putting the words in. So I kid you not, there is one in there on the auditors. Okay. You got Numbnuts 1 and Numbnuts 2. That would be Gardner and Culp. Okay. I don't even know how else to tell you people. Okay. So evidently they sold somebody. Okay, say that my mom dies, right? And I'm supposed to get her property. Well, for some reason, these two knuckleheads sold that property because they said the taxes weren't paid up on it. So it went for sale in a tax sale. So now I am suing the auditor's office for this huge screw up. This is what you have elected into office. This is the things that you never see going on social media. And so this is when Gardner is standing in these meetings, people, and he's up there reading 6 pages of notes of why he needs $500,000. People need to be at that podium saying, no, give us the details of that.
Yeah.
Did anybody pay attention at the last meeting? Did anyone pay attention? And Gardner is up there and he's like, well, these aren't our lawsuits. They just come through the commissioner's office because, we oversee that. Okay, let me give you a perfect example. Here's a perfect example. So the commissioner's office owns all the vehicles in the county. Does everybody understand that? They are the ones that are pretty much on the title, the commissioner's office. Tom Eckert is the person who's supposed to be controlling all that because he's the administrative secretary. That's what you call it. It's a secretary. I don't know what else you want to call it. Secretary. So he got a $10,000 raise 3 or 4 years ago just because he gets on his knees to rich wine.
And yeah, that should
He's not qualified. He doesn't have the education level, but nobody cares. Now, this money is promised and earmarked for Tom Eckert, and the commissioners don't even have the funds appropriated for it. It's a misappropriation of funds.
That
should have been, and that was a whole show within itself. Like, I got gavelled at the meeting. I got sent to my seat. It was a whole ordeal.
So a weird thing.
He gets all this. Now, through this time, he's been getting raises every year. Can't do it for our sheriffs, but we've done it for Tom, who's completely... He just fumbles all the time. So Kristopher, I called Kristopher because I was having an issue, and Kristopher says to me, you better repeat that to me because you're not making sense. So I said, okay, here's what happened. The highway department had a gentleman out driving the vehicle, I guess in Grant County or somewhere, to pick up, I don't know.
We're going to go pick up stone or something. It was a county highway truck or
somehow
vehicle.
Traveling either back or forth. I don't know. The sun was in the way and there was an accident.
That happens.
So the Indiana State Police present and they're like license, registration, insurance. So the highway department guy's like, this is what I got. And they're like, this is all expired like in 2017. So Kristopher says, are you sure? I said, well, this is what I know. So Kristopher's like, okay, I'll take it from here. So Kristopher gets on there. He starts looking through tickets. He starts going through and finding all of this stuff and accident reports, everything. And sure enough, it's true. So what happens is the highway department grounds all its vehicles until they can figure out who's got registration, who's got their plates are up to date, who's got CDLs in place. And it's just, and then what happens is they begin to call other departments because they don't know how much has been missed. Now, everybody can say that you can blame the department heads, but it is Tom Eckert's job. This is his job. And I tell you this because as a coroner, everything we did with those vehicles all had to go through that office. When we hit a deer, it all had to go through that office. It made
what?
News.
I want everybody that's listening to this. I want every single one of you that are listening to this live or that will listen to this in the future. I want you to come back to tomorrow evening because I'm going to do something. I'm going to promise you this. I'm going to call 2 or 3 different department heads at county level government. So, like, for example, call the sheriff of Delaware County. I'm going to call the sheriff of Randolph County.
Sproles.
I'll probably pass on Sproles. I'll call the sheriff of Wayne County. So I'll call those 3 sheriffs. And then I'll also call like the EMS department chief. I'll call those department heads at the county, not city, because we're talking about county. I want it to be all the same. I'll call the highway department people, and I'm going to ask them, okay, you have a fleet of vehicles. Every year when your registration is due and you have to go through this process, and when the insurance is due, what is the process you as a department head does? Do you do it solely yourself, or do you send it in? Does the commissioner's office handle this? Yada, yada, yada. And I will find out. I will do this tomorrow. I will not be here, but I will make that phone call and I will get that information back to Katherine. And you all have to come back tomorrow evening when Katherine's doing the show in my stead, and she will give you that answer and she'll tell you what I found. Because I'm of the opinion that a lot of it falls on the department head, but at the end of the day, I think it like doing the work and all that, the busy work does, and then they hand it off to someone in the commissioner's office, and the commissioner's office is responsible. But I'm not 100% sure. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get these people, I'm going to call some sources I know, and I will get that information and find out how it's done in 3 or 4 different counties and get a consensus, and then I'll give Katherine the information, because I don't know. I don't know. I mean, well, I believe what Katherine's saying is right. I believe it falls on the commissioner's office, but yeah, I want to hear that.
And so just like when we came into the coroner's office, do you know the coroners in Madison County were never bonded? Never. So we go to the training, we come back and we're like, hey, we got to have bonds. And they're like, no, you're not having bonds because that's extra money. Well, we couldn't go and get our own bonds. It all had to go through the commissioner's office. They had
I don't know how that's, I can't comprehend that.
So I just, what I'm thinking is they're kind of the gatekeepers of all that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why they do it that way. And that's fine. But at the end of the day, and so I told him, I said, if you don't give me a bond, if I get sued for something, guess what? That's going right on you. Now, why would a coroner need a bond? I'll tell you guys why. Because sometimes I'm picking up jewelry, I'm picking up guns, I'm picking up personal items. They do get misplaced. It's rare, but at times, you know, you're in the emergency room, you set something down, you've bagged it all up. Well, it's a hospital. And I have had this happen to me where I've had to go pull the cameras and find out who picked up that bag. And so it happens. It's the reality of it, but that's why you have to be bonded. So, or if you go out and you're moving somebody you break something by moving that body and you didn't see a vase, you have to be bonded. It's just the reality of it. So anyways, so back to the car issue. So Kristopher gets all this stuff. You know, by this time, listen, it's already been like 10 days. This has gone through the county like wildfire, right? It is all over the place, and how they've had to ground trucks. So you ground these trucks. How much do you think that cost us employees just to sitting around until they could figure out who could drive again? Because it was a couple of days before they could get themselves back together. Well, and put people back out on the road.
Yeah, I want to know, did they I mean,
and there were tickets issued. And thank God it was a state trooper, because there were tickets issues. That's how this all came to light, because who knows what they would have covered up if it would have happened in Madison County.
What I want to know is, did this affect just the highway department? Did it affect the sheriff's department? Was there a period in time that the sheriff's vehicles were parked because they didn't have insurance? You know, how many places? I will let you know, besides getting, because I got the ticket information and I got the crash information. I provided that to Katherine. I have also since filed a record request with the county. I filed it through the auditor's office. That's where you file records requests. The auditor's office sends it to the attorney, which is Jeffrey Graham. Graham apparently can't read it from an email, so he said, hey, you've got to put it on this special form. I'm like, oh, okay, sorry. So I put it stupidly on a special form and said, there you go. Have at it. I've completed your request, but I don't think it was how he liked it. However, he did say he had it and that he was working on it and they would get it back to me He was giving it to the IT department, and I would have my documents ASAP. So I should have this soon, hopefully.
And maybe we should call the person that's on the report and see. I don't know if he'll talk to us because people are so fearful of losing their job. But maybe we should call and find out from him, because we're getting this all through another person.
Well, look, he's not said or done anything. This got to us by second and third hand, and I found it's a public document. I mean, it's not, he just happened to be driving the vehicle. It's not his fault.
Because Christopher's like, are you sure this is? I said, I don't know. And Christopher's like, well, let me take.
I mean, it's just shocking to me that a county vehicle wouldn't be registered since 2017. Right. I could maybe see like a year, but I mean 2017, that's madness.
So now what everybody, and I don't think anybody was hurt, so that's a good thing. But this also happens in the health department. The health department, believe me, they have people who smoke inside the car. They've destroyed it. They got cigarette burns, and they have literally gone undercover, taken it to a private garage, had it all fixed, and brought it back, all on the taxpayers. And nobody's asking for these receipts. Actually, this is a shameful thing on the county council. The county council needs to be saying, show me more receipts. Show me those accident reports. Let me see how many people. Is that all from the same department? That's what should be going on with instead of like, okay, well, here's your next blank check, and here's your next blank check. So this is the kind of stuff that's going on. And that's why they keep raising our taxes for purposes like this, because there, for some reason, is no accountability with these commissioners. So I want you all to know that this is a disaster, and I'm not sure really who is running the show when we're paying this. And I'm going to be honest with you, this is malfeasance. There's no question. These people are incompetent to do their job, and you can get in trouble for that. And I love these people who think, well, I'm just going to retire. You can't come back on me and get this on me. Well, I don't know that that's necessarily true.
That is not.
And so if you missed the show, this is only one thing. If you missed the show when they had the council, and it was a show, it was a complete circus show. Literally, Todd Culp is at the podium, the auditor. Now, remember, last year, the auditor was Commissioner Rick Gardner. At the podium, the commissioners are sending Todd up to request like the $443,000 that they need for miscellaneous stuff. However, over $300,000 of that is for FICA and PERF. Now, that is a federal mandate. Like, how much you should be pretty close and eyeballing that, unless you're hiring like 50 people, but you should be pretty close and with that. Well, while they're up there bantering, and yes, I'd made myself up at the podium a few times, literally Todd Culp looks at Rob Steels and says, I told you guys not to remove the FICA and PERF money because you're going to have to pay it. It's a federal regulation. Jody Norick and Rob Steele both go, you did tell us not to do that. But you need to understand, we have to make our budget meet a certain number. People, I don't even know if this is legal. You knowingly cut your budget in which you knew you had to give that money to. How is this even? I wish some attorney or some tax person or somebody was watching this that says you can absolutely not do this. Like, state boards and accounts need to come in.
Okay, I heard you say this the other day, and I don't know what you mean. Maybe I'm not understanding what you're saying, because they know what their figure is. They know what their draw is from the DLGF. They know what they're going to get. Like, for example, when the city of Muncie was dealing with their budget, they knew, like, this time around we're getting like $6.5 million or $65 million. I don't know what the deal is, but they know the number we're going to get.
Right.
And let's just make it easy and say it's $100.
Let's put it to you this way. This is how I mean it. So the DLGF is going to give us $45 million. Okay. You know that. But we've done a budget, and we've got the budget at 40 600,000. Okay. Well, so they move 600,000 out of the perf and out of the FICA and say, no, our budget's really going to be that 45,000. That's where we're going to be at. Well, no, you lied, because our budget's really going to be at 45,600 because you just took that FICA and perf off. So where's this extra money coming from? This isn't a true budget.
They
are intentionally taking it out of an area that has to be paid. It would be different if you took that out of the commissioner's budget, which didn't have to do with FICA or perf or anything that was mandated. But this is mandated money they intentionally removed.
Yeah.
That's the problem with this. And then these guys are up there going, yep, we knew that. That's another problem. That they shouldn't have removed it, right? So that's what I'm saying. This is a problem. And then you tell the sheriffs, we don't have $400,000 just laying around to give to you. Well, I don't know how you don't, because to this date right now, they have given the commissioners $947,000. How do you mean that you don't have $400,000 to give them? And you cut their budget last year by $1.1 million. So now, as they're bantering back and forth, Todd Culp literally says, so Bethany Keller calls out Todd Culp and she says, if you pay that, this is a misappropriation of funds because you don't have the funding for it. He says, I don't care. I'm going to pay it anyways.
Yeah,
because I'm not going to take a federal offense. So now this compounds it even more. They know that they have taken something at a federal level. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how because this is a manipulation of numbers. It's not right for the taxpayers. I mean, there's all kinds of, every one of them should be in trouble for this. So they, I mean, this is literally like stealing money. So now she says, but it's a Class B misdemeanor for you if you do a misappropriation of funds. He says, I'll take that Class B misdemeanor anytime before I take a federal offense.
Yeah.
And he is so cocky about it.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't even bother him. It was mind-blowing that he behaved this way at the podium. And sure enough, what did they do? And I even said that. I said, you guys always back us taxpayers against the wall, telling us you have to do this. You have no choice. We've got to give you the money. And they give that money. And I said, it's not fair to the taxpayers when they knowingly knew what they were doing to the taxpayers. That's why I'm like, I don't know that that you can do stuff like this. You can't backdoor taxpayers knowingly taking money out of a fund that has to be funded no matter what. I mean, 2 years ago, the commissioners came in with $650,000 for health insurance because that's how they made the budget match the year before. So this is why this is a big problem. People need to pay attention. You got to come to these meetings. You got to speak up. You got to say to these people, this is craziness.
Yeah.
Now, I want everybody to think about, there's a big meeting on Tuesday, the 23rd, which is just, next week. Nowhere in the meeting 10 days ago, did anybody say about new money requests? They were going to come in because they needed to take care of the sheriffs. They needed to figure out this $400,000. They were going to raise this certain tax part to do it. Suddenly on Saturday, in this little obscure area of public notices about this big, I look over there and I'm like, what's this? Because over here are all these big notices. The commissioners are asking for $1 million in capital improvements.
It's amazing, isn't it?
If you've been following along at all, that $5.5 million that they want interest is for capital improvements. That's what they want it for. So they're going to siphon this stuff right off, right? They're going to take it all off.
Absolutely.
So they're going to get to that $5.5 million one way or the other. They've already gotten 500 of it. So now there's only 5 million left. So now, if you think about this, they're screaming right now that they've got to cut our budget by $2 million for 2026. Really? Because if you give them $1 million on Tuesday night, they're already at 943 or some thousand. They're already at 2 million. Is anybody paying attention? You've got to come to these meetings and you've got to call this stuff out. Actually, somebody needs to go to the podium and just look at every one of them and say, why don't you guys just resign? because you're
Yeah.
talking to us like we're morons, like nobody's paying attention. And, don't be mad at the messenger. People are like, oh, Catherine's just ranting. Catherine's just upset. Yeah, I am, because I kind of work really hard for my money and I take it pretty seriously. So I am going to rant about it. I am going to yell about it. I am going to scream from the rooftops of it, because what they are doing, I'm telling you, is criminal. This is a problem.
Yeah.
And so, when Gardner's up there saying, well, I need money because we got 3 insurance issues on 3 vehicles. Well, which vehicles are these?
Kate said she thought that money was for the jail.
No, we got to fix a clock tower. We got to renovate. We got to renovate some building. I don't know, some building that nobody, the Brandenburg place that nobody knows what they're even going to do. It's a historical building, so we need to renovate that. I mean, hey, everybody! I just want you to know, screw your water.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want you to go drink that dirty, nasty stuff right over there, because that's what they're doing. I mean, people need to be like off the chain. And here's the thing: so we can't find 400,000. Rob Trotter got up there and he talked about this. We can't find the 400,000 to give to our sheriffs, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to do a new department. Okay. And that department is going to be called Madison County Park Board. Okay. Which we've never had in decades, but we're going to have it now. And by the way, we've got $4 million just laying around that we just don't know what to do with. We're just at an awe. So what are we going to do? We're going to give that $4 million to the trail. Oh, that's right. We gave it to the trail. And then we realized it costs about $1.2 million per mile to do the trail. Oh, what was Jessica Bastian thinking? Nothing as usual, because it's a 10-mile trail. So we can't, what are we going to do? We can't do it. So now we're going to put in these 2 anchor parks conveniently. Well, here's what I want everybody to understand. These 2 anchor parks are roughly right now, they've got it like at 300 and I don't know, 3,600,000, something crazy. So they have about $350,000 left. Okay. Well, they don't know where they're going to get this other land, and it has to be pretty big. Well, 2 days later, suddenly they've got somebody who's going to sell land, like 57 acres. Well, here's the thing. If that land is more than the 350,000 they have left, and they enter into that agreement, that is a misappropriation of funds again. And the county council said they defunded that entire thing and will not give them more than the $4 million they have. So this is why the commissioners are coming in and they're grabbing this money very quickly, because they do not have enough money to secure that land without doing a misappropriation of funds. And they do not want any of us to see what's going on, because they know that I'm going to call it out. Because remember, this time last year, I called out $100,000 of misappropriation of funds. And what I got from that was gavelled and walked out by the sheriff. So this is why it needs to be more than just me. I'm only one person that can share this. Other people have to go to that podium, and other people have to start holding them accountable. You have to start sharing on social media. You have to start getting involved. I'm doing all I can to try to push this information out. But this is a big problem of what is happening and how this is illegally happening. And I want everybody who's watching, if you are affected by the trail on 8th Street, are you listening?
Yeah.
The Parks Board does not make the decision to take things by eminent domain. Okay? Understand that. So the Parks Board is being truthful with you. They will not take your land by eminent domain. They are correct. But the people who appoint them to those seats are the commissioners. Yes. That's who takes your land by eminent domain, and that's who will be doing it. Because Jessica said it in a council meeting about a year ago when Bethany Keller questioned her. Yeah. And she said, well, if we have to take it by eminent domain, and Bethany's like, yeah, that's not a very smart idea to do. And we kind of thought it was going to die, and they do it anyways. I mean, here's the thing. I cannot express to you more than that. Bethany and I don't always see eye to eye on everything. I want people to understand that. Bethany and I have not always been on the best of terms, but we've always been respectful to one another. Okay.
Yeah.
And like, you don't see me throwing Bethany out there or her throwing me out there. That's not, we communicate, we have our discussions. Sometimes they're uncomfortable ones, but she's an adult. I'm an adult. We have it and it's okay. And then, look at how they treat Bethany. It's absolutely gross. It's disgusting. It's horrible. I mean, she's one person. I don't know if Bethany's going to come back and run again. Should she come back and run again? Absolutely. She's the only voice she is the only chance we have. Whatever your differences are with Bethany, I'm just telling you, we don't have, if we lose Bethany, this whole entire county is a sunken ship.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you that it's a disaster.
Yes, the hope would be that maybe someday there'll be people better than the other counselors and better than Bethany, and we'd actually have really good people in. But until then, we need who we got.
Right? We thought help was coming for Bethany,
and
that has been an epic fail.
Yeah, badly.
Yeah, it's been an epic fail. And I'm going to show you tomorrow night just how badly those council people are failing us in the play on words that they're doing with some other things. So as we roll into all of this, I just kind of want to, and it kind of goes back to Elwood and Alexandria. We have the money. Alexandria and Elwood, when you live in municipalities, you're already paying a tax. Okay. Sure. So now they want to go after Alexandria and Elwood. These communities already need the money they have. They do. The county has much deeper pockets, people. They ultimately do. And so if you look at the post, can you bring up that post real quick, Kristopher? And I just want to show you. It's in your messenger.
Which one? The Herald Bulletin?
Oh, the Facebook post. It's got the Herald Bulletin on there.
About the dispatch?
Yeah. And it says commissioners threaten suits over central dispatch funding. We're going to read that letter and see if that's true or if the Herald Bulletin got this wrong. Okay. But what I want to draw everybody's attention to is that do you see the green arrow? It's like the third or fourth picture. It's got a circle around it down at the bottom. Hit that 22. This is the actual contract if you want to read it. Now, can you read that bottom part there at the very bottom?
It says, during the term of this agreement, the parties will attempt in good faith to find alternative sources with which to fund any future agreement. For example, the parties may seek legislative changes in financing methods, 911 telephone tax amendments, or income tax amendments, or alternatives. Should there be insufficient resources found to replace the payments from the city of Elwood to Madison County by 2022, the parties shall enter negotiations to continue the payments or find some other source of revenue.
Okay. Now, Mayor Jones and Mayor Naselroad fulfilled this agreement. They fulfilled it. In 21, they started Cummings, Hannah, the judges, they all went out and started greasing the wheels. We got to raise the public safety lit tax. We got to do this. The council wants us to do this. So they go to all the different municipalities. The municipalities push back, but at the end of the day, every municipality agreed for the raise in the public safety lit tax. And if you go and look through these pictures, I put several pictures that support this. Madison County chose to vote no. They did not need this public safety local income tax raise. They didn't need it. They voted no. So they then went and they threw all the municipalities under the bus. But just because they said no does not mean that they do not get that money.
Sure.
So this brought in $3.1 million of revenue to the county. Therefore, Mayor Jones and Mayor Naselroad didn't just bring them in 180,000 collectively every year for them. They bought them in $3 million, 10 times or more than what they were paying. And you don't have any money to look to say they've fulfilled their agreement. They found you the other resource. They agreed to that. So this is a problem in Madison County. Now let's take this a step further. Does everybody understand that the dispatch center gets they get like $1 for every 911 phone that's out there? So all these cell phones, look at your cell phone bill. You're paying that 911 tax. That's going to dispatch. It's not going to Elwood. It's not going to Alexander. It's going to dispatch.
It's going to the 911 county dispatch center.
Yeah, that can only be used for dispatch.
Yeah.
That fund has, well, people called on them last year. It had like almost $900,000 in it because they weren't spending it from it. And now it's got like $700,000 in it. Well, that's another resource. When Elwood and Alexandria gave up their dispatch centers, they gave all this stuff to the county. They gave their radios. They gave their personnel. The county, read that agreement, they wanted complete control.
Yeah.
And so I don't know where these commissioners. So do you have that? I sent you what the commissioner sent to them. I don't even know what it says, but this is they received today.
The thing that you had.
Yeah, it's right above in Messenger. This is what the mayors received from the county. I don't even know what attorney signed this. And so that's why I tell you, it's going to come down to who has the better attorney.
Hi. It says.
And I just want to thank Elwood. When they comply, when we put in a records request, they actually produce it.
Oh, yeah. So it says from the Madison County Board of Commissioners, John Richwine, President, Olivia Pratt, Rick Gardner, to Mayor Todd Jones. Reference Madison County Dispatch Center. Mayor Jones, Madison County and the city of Elwood entered into an interlocal agreement in 2011 whereby the city agreed to pay the county an annual sum of $90,000 through 2021 for providing dispatch and other services to the city. The agreement stated that there should there be insufficient resources found to replace the payments from the city to the county by 2022, the parties shall enter into negotiations to continue the payments, and that the parties will attempt in good faith to find alternative sources with which to fund any future agreement. The agreement expressly contemplated a future agreement after the city's payments terminated in 2021, and thus the current agreement terminated at the end of 2021.
Okay, let's just call this what it is. All right, Richwine, you assumed it would do that, right?
Yeah.
You assumed, but they fulfilled this. Like I just explained to you people, they fulfilled this. These commissioners want all the money. They are a money greedy grab pricks.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Well, so, okay, go on here. It says the city has not made any payments to the county since 2022.
Why should they?
But has continued to receive benefits in excess of the statutory required public service access point, the PSAP services, which the county has provided with the expectation of payment by the city. Despite numerous good faith attempts to negotiate an updated payment structure or find alternative funding sources, the parties have been unable to come to an agreement. As such, the Madison County Dispatch Center is no longer financially able to continue to support the non-PSAP services to the city. Accordingly, as of January 1st, 2026, in the absence of a new agreement providing for past and future payments, the county will be terminating its services to the city beyond the PSAP services required under Indiana Code 36.8.16.72. The dispatch center's responsibilities will therefore be limited to 1, receiving incoming requests for emergency assistance, and 2, relaying those requests to the city. The following services will no longer be provided: IDAX coordination, NWS maintenance for corrections, NWS New World Systems maintenance for law enforcement, maintenance for fire, utility company notification, and phone calls. Animal control phone calls, admin call outs for agencies, street department phone calls, non-emergency phone calls, wrecker service phone calls, fire investigation phone call outs, calls to release vehicles, non-emergency logging off of narratives in CAD, 911 telephone recording calls, recording of radio traffic, paging of fire, and
those recordings are going to cause a lawsuit like nobody's business.
Oh yeah, updates to radio equipment, IT infrastructure and computer maintenance and support, peripheral service, active 911, EOS body cam, access to Public Records Act, APRA request. In addition, without a new agreement, the memoranda of understanding entered into between the city and county regarding the P25 radio system, the city's use of the county-owned radios, and the city's access to county-owned infrastructure to support the P25 system will be terminated by the county by January 1st, 2026, in the absence of a renegotiated MOU before that date. As a result, city-owned FCC frequencies will revert to the city on January 1, 2026, and the city will no longer have access to the county-wide P25 system. The city will no longer have access to the P25 system and therefore will no longer be able to utilize the county-owned infrastructure located at the city water tower for its radio communications. In order to implement these changes moving forward, the following is a non-exhaustive list of actions the city should take and issues to be aware of in order to continue providing its residents with the current levels of services. The city will need to set up a location with personnel staffed 24/7, where the dispatch center can forward all emergency PSAP calls and where the city can receive calls for non-emergency services. This should include lobby, call box, and after-hours calls. Dispatch center will cease making and answering administrative calls and will forward all emergency calls to the location provided. The city should implement a 24/7 recording solution for incoming calls, as the dispatch center will no longer record radio and telephone traffic for the city. The city should purchase and implement a dispatch CAD, LE, and FD records management. The system for the 24/7 location to maintain records of their calls for service. Dispatch center will no longer provide access to the CAD system or any other application. The county IT department will provide reasonable efforts to assist the city in obtaining historical records from Tyler New World and provide those records to the city. The city should establish a means of formalizing and providing the prosecutor's office with necessary paperwork, incident reports, and PC affidavits. The city will need to provide a means of communication with the employees, as of all the radio equipment is owned by the county and must be returned by December 31st, 2025. If the city wishes to purchase the county-owned radio, subscriber equipment, and accessories, antennas, and cabling, the county is willing to sell the equipment to the city for $162,250. The city must establish a connection to the state of Indiana IDAX to provide NCIC IDAX secure information, as the dispatch center will no longer be a terminal agency for the city. The dispatch center will provide a reasonable effort for to assist the city in this transaction. If the city wishes the dispatch center to continue to provide each of the non-PSAP services and wants to maintain access to the P25 system and the county-owned radios infrastructure, the city and the county must enter into a new interlocal agreement before the end of the year, whereby the city must agree to pay arrears to the county in the amount of $365,000 on a reasonable timeline to be determined, plus fees for future services in the amount of $90,000 per year. Please provide notice to the county no later than October 31st, 2025, stating whether or not the city wishes the county to continue to provide these non-PSAP services on these payment terms. The county is hoping for a smooth transition from the current arrangements and will use reasonable efforts to assist the city in its new endeavor. If you have any questions about these specific services that will no longer be provided or want to discuss the transition, please contact the Office of the Board of Commissioners, Madison County Board of Commissioners. And let me tell you, Delaware County went through this exact same thing back in I would say 2018, 2019, and 2020. And it's a big battle. It finally gets worked out. The bottom line is this is going to get worked out. It will get worked out. I just don't know how it's going to. And
Well,
it's going to be
I just want to remind all of Madison County as you are watching this, there cannot be bigger idiots. There is no other word that I can use than John Richwine, Rick Gardner, and Olivia Pratt.
That's true.
And let me tell you why. That municipality has a fallen officer that trial has not even gone. Tell me exactly what would go through everybody's head when your officer is being shot and your commissioners have shut off phone services and that officer has no one or nowhere to call. Tell me how that works. Or tell me how it works when you have a sheriff who is over in that area. There's no sheriff that's close to them. They rely on Elwood to respond to help them out on a traffic stop on one of these rural county roads, but there's no one to come help them. Because why? Because that sheriff has no access, because we're in a pissing contest. So we're going to use dispatch. This is like a divorce, people.
Well, it is
dispatch as a pawn.
And the different police departments are the kids.
Yes.
The kids are still going to help each other and beat. They're in the middle. The law enforcement is not a part of this.
But
so they're still going to find ways to help each other out and do all that stuff.
Yeah, so when you're out there, seconds matter.
Yes.
These guys under a lot of pressure,
yes.
right? That's why they have radios. It's not as easy to pick up the phone and dial the phone. If we had that, we wouldn't need all those radios, right?
Yeah,
there's a reason why they are outfitted with the equipment they are outfitted in, because seconds matter. And so this is the whole thing is like, you people have not even thought through that letter. You've had 2 years to think through that.
No. They've thought through it. This is the scare tactic that's
happening.
Because here's what's going to happen.
Total bully.
Elwood's going to pay it. They're going to have to pay it. They've got to pay it.
No, they're not.
They've got to pay something. Yeah, they've got to.
They shouldn't have to. Why should they? They found the funding. They found the funding. The council said they didn't need that raise. They got $3.1 million.
Yeah, but back up here. Listen, wait a minute.
I'm telling you, if those mayors are watching this right now, do not pay that. Stand your ground. No way.
Maybe don't pay that amount of money, but you don't get to use a service and not pay something to it.
Listen, Numbnuts made the contract. He said, if you find other resources, they did exactly that. You took all their equipment. When you read through that, they had to give all their radios. Anderson had to give all of their radios. They gave all of their employees. They gave all of their equipment to them. So now they have nothing. Okay, you know what, Richwine? Then you go find their original radios. You give it back to them. I bet you can't even find it.
That shit's gone.
Exactly. But you give it back to them because you took them. You took everything out from underneath them. And now you're saying, now you're not going to pay us. We're just going to leave you out there. They found the funding. They raised when the county decided not to raise. And here's the thing. Come Tuesday, the county council is asking Alexandria, the city of Anderson, Elwood, and Pendleton to pass an increase on the PSAP tax. Why would they do that? And let me remind everybody in LaPel, when they got this public safety lit money, it was supposed to go to different fire, EMT, all of that stuff. Chad Blake went in front of the council and he asked for that money. They were owed like $200,000. I'm just saying roughly. Okay. That's what they were owed. The council told them no. So wait a minute here. You got $3.1 million. It was part of the agreement that you would help these territories, and you're saying no, but now you want your money? Listen, this isn't Burger King. This isn't have it your way. At some point, people have to stand. And I'm telling you right now, they have paid. Elwood has paid and Alexandria has paid. And now you're telling me, and this
They've
is what
paid
makes
what?
they found the funding. They paid they fulfilled their part of the agreement. They
For
wrote
a
that.
one-time deal?
No, that public safety money gets every year comes in.
Yeah. Right.
So
here's the
getting it
deal.
every year. So
No.
because
It didn't make sense when Muncie, Delaware County did the same thing.
and so who pays into dispatch in Delaware County?
Okay, so here and I don't agree with this. I don't agree with how Muncie did it in Delaware County. So Delaware County, you've got the Delaware County Sheriff's Department, and then you've got City of Muncie Police Department, and then with the small towns, you've got Gaston, Eaton, Albany, Daleville, Yorktown, Selma. That's 8. And then you've got Ball State University. Ball State has their own dispatch. But out of the other 8 police agencies in Delaware County, being the Delaware County Sheriff's Department, and then the Muncie City Police Department, and then that's 2, and then the 6 small towns, Delaware County and Muncie, that pays for it all. And the small towns don't do diddly shit. And I think that's a bunch of horse shit. I think the small towns should pay. All you do, it's real easy, because the big argument was, well, Muncie takes more calls than the county, so they should be paying more. Here's what you do. You take 100% of the call volume and you put in all the people, put in all the EMS, all the volunteer fire departments, all the police and everybody. And then you divide up the call volume, and then you divide it up by the amount of money. That's pretty simple to do. And you could look at it on a 5-year period, and they, do it a contract and then adjust it every 5 years as necessary. But I don't think it makes sense.
I'm not going to agree with you because I feel that you're double dipping. We all pay a county tax.
We all are.
Right?
We all are doing that. Yeah. If you live in Muncie,
no, we're not all doing
it.
Because if you don't live in one of the municipalities and you're rural and you're just paying for the county, right? You're not one of the. You're only paying the county. So no, it's not right, and I think this is a big problem. And so at the end of the day, they've got to learn to live within their means.
Well, they can adjust that down. Okay, so adjust for that, but still, the bottom line. You don't get services that you don't pay for, right? Nobody's giving you anything.
All of us are paying the 911.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying in your life, you don't go turn your TV on and watch TV for 5, 6, 7 months without paying your bill, right? You got to pay a monthly bill for your service. You got to pay a monthly bill for your cell phone.
If that's the agreement in which I've done that. And that's what I'm saying. Those mayors fulfilled their agreement. It is not their fault that the county has no idea how to manage money.
I agree with that. No, I agree there. I agree there.
Tell me that these people have to pay this when you're giving the commissioners $2 million outside of their budget every single year.
That. Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
So that's why I'm not seeing eye to eye. I understand what you're saying. Okay. What I don't understand is that the spending in Madison County is so out of control that they're nickel and diming everybody to death because you know why? They've got to pay for that jail somehow.
Sure.
At the end of the day, they've got to pay for their screw ups when they don't insure cars. They've got to pay for, all the other lawsuits because they open their mouth before they actually think and get things in order. So that's why they're nickeling and diming everybody everywhere because they're such screw ups. I mean, I have never seen more incompetent people centrally located in my life.
I'd be interested to know, does Anderson, do you guys have a centralized dispatch or are there 2 different dispatches?
No, it is now centralized. Even Anderson went to.
Oh, I would like to know what Anderson pays in.
It's crazy. It's millions.
Muncie pays $1 million a year, I think, or maybe $1 million.
I have
maybe
all
1.8 million.
Yeah, and I posted on it. When this was real hot, I posted all that document. So I'd have to go back a couple years in my Facebook posts and pull it all up. But I have all of that documentation. This just, I had heard about this when I was
Yes, sir, LaRue.
when I was listening to this on the commissioners meeting, I heard a little bit about it, and then I saw the article in the middle of the night, and then that's when this whole thing. Yeah, listen, stop giving tax abatements to companies, to everything right now. I mean, give the taxpayers a break. The people.
Well, yeah, we're in a real dire straits with everything going on. So
Yeah.
you figured they would be like, all right, we got to reevaluate how we're doing this.
Right. So that's kind of, this will lead into tomorrow. I'll have more for you.
Yeah, you're going to be covering all this
tomorrow. But real quickly, the one thing I did want to address is, it's been another hot topic, is the Larry Savage trial.
Mm-hmm.
So the Larry Savage trial, from what I'm reading and what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing, is that there's going to be some kind of plea. I've been told that the jury trial has been canceled. So I was told that. And so, and not by Larry. So I had to get an official word. It's been canceled. There's going to be some type of plea that's going to go into this. All I can say is this is another form of bullying. When Russ Willis is found guilty and no charges are put on him, no stipulations are put on him, and he walks free when a special prosecutor has found him guilty, then you fast, and that's election canvassing. That actually happened during election night that happened. Then we show how they are making up ballots. They're stuffing these ballots through, and how people are getting off with the ballots and how they can manipulate the machines. And that's why Russ wouldn't let anybody in the building. And if you went to canvassing during the general, that happened in the primary. If you went in the general, they went behind a wall that we couldn't see, and they still had activity going on. That's not true canvassing. You look at Marion County, it's all on a glass partition. You can see the entire room. So we got big issues in Madison County. The other thing is I don't know why Larry would plea out anything, because Tim Lannon said, I don't care what you guys do. You want to break the rules? Break the rules. I don't care. Rebecca Kroom said, where are the rules posted? Tim Lannon says, you just should know them. How would we just know them? So I don't even know what there is to plead. This case smells rotten. It always has smelled rotten. This was supposed to be a spectacle to let everybody in this county know that, boy, these elected officials, they're large and in charge. They're going to pound their chest, and you're going to notice it. And you know what? You're going to kneel when they come walking by you. Well, that might work for you people. It ain't working for me. And I get it. I know that there's a target on my back. And you know what? They put it full on display every time, the way they treat me. And you think people around aren't looking at it? If you're afraid of that, I guess you can leave in fear, but I'm not fear. There's nothing to fear but fear itself.
Yeah.
It's how I feel about it. And so, it's not how I would want my daughters to be raised. If you believe in something, then you need to voice your opinion about it. And so this whole thing with Larry, I mean, I had no idea what was going on until you made me watch the videos again. And then I'm like, oh, there's how there's stuff in the ballots. I had no idea.
Well,
I just thought, it's another time where these morons have complete chaos going on in a meeting. Linda Smith is the most incompetent of them all.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, somebody's got to run for clerk. That's the only way we're going to get fair elections, is to get somebody in there who's not part of the establishment, who is strong enough to deal with all the arrows that are going to come at them, because there's going to be a lot of them, because they're going to want to keep their power and the cheating going on. So I don't know why they're looking into that.
Hold on, pause here. I have an exclusive right here. We've got a video from Larry Savage. He sent this to me right before we went live. This is about a 5-minute video. I want to play this. It's a 4-minute and 18-second video, and then it cuts off, and then there's a 1:37-second video. And I'll be honest, my phone died while I was in the middle of listening to this. So I listened to about a minute and a half of the first video, and then my phone died. So I just got my phone powered back on, and I sent this to us, and we're going to play this. I have no clue what this says, so I've got no idea. Hopefully it's not crazy. It's Larry, so I would assume it's not. I mean, it's as crazy as Larry is, you know what I mean? So it is what it is. But we're gonna play this, and we'll hear what he has to say. This is Larry Savage, and I'm assuming he's talking about the case that has apparently going to be wrapped up through a plea deal.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Larry Savage. I kind of got wrapped up in a little bit of trouble. It is what it is. On October the 3rd of 24, I went into an election board meeting with several community leaders, several activists, the ex-state senator Tim Lannon. I think Terry Austin was there. Of course, our crooked-ass county clerk was there, Linda Smith. Listen, at no time did I go into that meeting thinking that I was committing a crime of any kind, because I went in that meeting and it was chaos. It was total and utter chaos. So chaotic that the senator was running the election demonstration, the practice run of these ballots, which that is important that you understand that this was a demonstration, that this was a practice run, that I asked immediately right off the bat. Sorry, I got dogs. Right off the bat, if this was a real ballot, and I was told no. So accidentally and unwillingly, I had uncovered a crime that was getting ready to happen in the election board, and that crime was Linda Smith. If I had real ballots, it is what it is. I was told they were fake, but she, I think if there, so how do you reprint fake ballots? If they were real, you can't reprint them and run them through the machine, right? Well, she did. She reprinted them, and she went in and counted the votes, and we just basically uncovered election fraud, because that woman, that crooked ass woman, Linda Smith, can make the election results anything she wants, and we just proved it. There are a lot of elections where people lose by 3 or 4 votes. We just had one in the mayoral race between John Bell and Rob Josiak. Yeah, that bitch cheated probably. It is what it is. But we're getting ready to uncover all that. I want to tell Andrew Hannon thanks for the professionalism that he showed me this week. He's actually a pretty decent guy, but a little upset that I'm getting ready to have to take a plea deal.
What's there to be
because I'm
upset?
52
That's
years
on
old,
him.
and I can face 3 or 4 years in prison for fake ballots. That if it was real, she still reprinted a real ballot. Come on, give me a fucking break. But listen, this country in the last week and a half has been through a little bit of an ordeal with Charlie Kirk getting shot. I don't see too many differences between getting shot in the neck or the voice box and dying than being held as a political prisoner by the county clerk and this stupid thing that's all happening right now. I just honestly think that she is crooked. We're going to fight against her ass the whole time that she reruns. If she runs again, she's going to have a lot of competition, because we're going to make sure that everybody knows that Linda Smith is on her knees in the county building an awful lot. She hides behind her faith. She's a fake Christian. She doesn't practice what she preaches. She's a very dirty woman. And it's unfortunate. I thought we were friends, but I'm an honest guy. I do what I think is right. I fight for our faith, our freedom, and our country, and our family. Faith, family, and freedom is important to me.
This isn't fighting.
We're dealing with corrupt, crooked officials in Madison County and Anderson. It is what it is. You, the voter, have got to get out and start voting these people out. You have bad water, bad roads, bad water lines. Everything about city of Anderson is terrible right now. Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
There's that. And
You can't ask the people to stand when you can't stand yourself.
to wrap it
I
up,
mean,
then,
I just want you to know.
let's just wrap
I
it
thought
up.
we were
and
friends.
we'll let you-
Fortunate. I thought we were friends, but I'm an honest guy. I do what I think is right. I fight for our faith, our freedom, and our country and our family. Faith, family, and freedom is important to me. We're dealing with corrupt, crooked officials in Madison County and Anderson. It is what it is. You, the voter, have got to get out and start voting these people out. You have bad water, bad roads, bad water lines. Everything about city of Anderson is terrible right now. The homeless situation, the meth, the heroin, everything that's going on in our county. It's not just an Anderson thing, it's a county thing. And the people that we have in these positions, like Dr. Scott Green, a liberal loon running the county. We've got a kid named Jonathan Culp, wet behind the ears, 24 years old or whatever it is, got elected. I wonder how it is. I wonder how everybody that Russ Willis and Linda Smith supported in these elections got elected. It's because that bitch cheated. And I'm just going to call her out the way it is. She cheated. She's a heifer. She's a whore. And she is who she is. So with that being said, we're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep fighting. Our faith, our freedom, and our country's worth it. God bless Charlie Kirk. He's a true American, a true patriot. He's got a vigil at Conseco Fieldhouse at 11 o'clock on Sunday. Show up. Be there. God bless. Keep fighting. Fortunate.
All right. Your thoughts.
My thoughts? You know, Larry taking this plea deal, that's not how one leads. If you feel that you're an honest person, then lead like an honest person. If you feel that you have not committed, you don't take a deal. You don't stand down to these people. You don't allow them to bully you. You stand with your head high and you move it forward. I believe Larry can win this. I believe that the reason why this is such a disaster is because they didn't think this through. They don't want more publicity over the cheating of the machines. They don't want anybody to look deeper into this entire disaster. I am fine with going to the stand on this. I didn't know what was going on, but I can tell you that after I had to watch those videos, Nicole put, I don't know how many countless hours and weeks of hours into those films and footages and editing. I mean, Nicole's the one that won the case because she's the one that put everything together, you know, to show everybody, look at this clip and look at this clip and look at this angle. If you're going to do something, then you need to lead by example. What Larry is showing everybody tonight is that it is easier to bow down than to stand strong. And that, I will tell you, if he's even thinking of running for another position, who would ever vote for him? Because he's unwilling to take a true stance. It's his life. He can do whatever he wants, whatever. But when Russ Willis doesn't face any charges, he's allowed to walk around for free. Sometimes, Larry, you have to play the cards instead and call them on their bluff rather than kissing the ring.
Well, I'll give you my thought on this, and that is, I definitely hear what you're saying, and I mean I agree with what you're saying. Larry, I've talked to Larry just briefly about this when he sent this video, and you know, if I was in Larry's spot, if it was me, not if I was Larry, if I was facing what Larry's facing, I would fight it because I believe, because first of all, he's not going to jail. He's not going to go to jail. Even if he's convicted of this, you're not going to go to jail. Now, I'll tell you, you know, listen, I can understand being afraid because he's like, well, if I get a felony, that's a big deal. If this was a misdemeanor thing, it'd be like, all right, I'd take a misdemeanor. You know, you're talking about losing your right to go into some buildings. You're talking about losing your right to run for office. You're talking about losing your right to possess a gun. Listen, I'm going to tell you, that'd be the first thing I would think of is, shit, I have an ass load of guns I would need to unload, and I would not want to do that. So I'm just saying I would fight it because I believe
I would fight this too. There's no way. He
I
is selling
believe-
his soul. He is selling his soul for what?
Well, I
This
believe
will be what he is always remembered for.
Yeah.
Always. By
I
doing
believe
this,
that I
he
would.
will always be remembered for this.
I believe that it's fight. I believe it's fightable. But I also told Larry, and I'll say what I said here. You got to do what's right for you, and you got to do what's right for your family. At the end of the day, it's Larry's ass on the line. Everybody, I get it, and there's a guy I would like to talk to. I mentioned a little bit about this. Mouthwash did a show with him a while back, and I don't think they did a very good job. He was a Muncie City police officer. He was charged with some crazy shit federally, and he took a plea, and he was like, I'm fighting the plea. And what they did is they ran him out of money. He had a wife and children that he needed to deal with.
Larry.
It's the same with Larry. I mean, he spent, I don't know how many, $20,000, $30,000. And here's the deal. If you fight it, it's another $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000. You get to a point that it's like, and that's what the government does. There's an attorney in East Central Indiana here. You know him, Zaki Ali. He's a defense attorney, and anytime he is doing his job, he doesn't call them the state. He doesn't call them the police. He doesn't call the prosecutor's office. He says the government. He calls the other side, no matter what he's talking about. When he says the government, because that's what you're up against. You're up against the government, and they have endless money. When they're printing the money, they can do what they want,
and that's
they run you
because
out of it.
the people keep letting them raise the taxes.
That's absolutely.
You continue to let them do what they do. So part of this is on the taxpayer.
It's the which came first, the chicken or the egg type thing.
And I will tell you that people are going to say what they say to Larry's face. Oh yeah, I'm going to tell you something right now, Larry. You taking this ain't no way, no how. I would back him. I would support him. I would do anything because Larry is not strong enough to stand on his own 2 feet. I get it. I get maybe you're running out of money. I get that you're scared that they're going to do this. But at the end of the day, I have no idea why you did what you did. I didn't agree with what you did when this was all unveiled. But at the end of the day, Tim Lannon said, if you want to do whatever you want to do what you do.
It's free for all. He was told it was a fake ballot.
We're done here.
Listen, and I'm going to say what I've always said. Larry did not go into this. This is the one thing I'll tell him. In a plea deal, they normally want you to allocate. They normally want you to say that you did this or that. I'm going to tell you, he's going to have to look, and he's going to have to decide this, because they're saying that he did this purposely. He did this to throw the count off. Are they going to want him to sign something, and are they going to want him to say in court that he knowingly and intentionally did this to because he thought he was skewing the election or whatever? I would not say that, because I'm going to tell you the same thing I've said since day one. Larry did not walk in there. Larry did not wake up in that morning saying, I'm going to go throw off the election. Larry didn't even know the thing was happening. He got a phone call and was like, hey, come on down. It's down here. And he went down and he was there. And while he was there, and I told him this to his face, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, this was a dumbass decision. He just acted. He didn't think. There was no thinking. He wasn't like, oh, I'm going to steal a ballot. There was no premeditation to this. He just took a ballot that he said, hey, is this says sample. What is this? And they're like, yeah, it's just a sample. It's fake. Nothing. So he took a couple, put in his pocket. He didn't think anything. I've been up to the courthouse and grabbed sample ballots, and they've said, hey, this is a sample ballot. I've had them on the show. I've told them. Now, I wasn't in that situation, but I could see the confusion, and anybody could have done that. Larry did an absolute just dumbass thing, and that's the thing. So, and like Stumblefoot said, ignorance of the law is no excuse. I understand that. I'm just saying, he didn't knowingly and intentionally do it. So if they're wanting him to say, I knowingly and intentionally tried to throw the election or skew the numbers, I couldn't sign that. I could not sign that, because if I was in the same situation, Larry, I could not sign that. So maybe the plea is not asking him to sign that. And maybe the plea is asking him, because look, Larry has never said, well, I didn't take the ballots. Larry has said since day one, I took the ballots. He said that everywhere. He said it on this show. He said it out in the world. He said it on his own videos. Larry has said, I took the ballots. But what he had not said is, I took the ballots to throw something off. He just took the ballots, and it's all this. So
Well,
it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that
I will
statement
fight
that he
this.
made. I don't
here's
know
the
how he
thing.
can do the plea.
He's got, well, that's what I'm thinking too, because if you're saying this and he's saying that, I'm like, how do you even take this? So at the end of the day, you know, when I listen to this whole disaster, Larry's kind of got them pinned in a corner too, because we're getting ready to go to an election. If they pin this on Larry, and Andrew Hanna's the one that's been managing this whole thing, it makes you question, if somebody runs against Andrew, if somebody can win, because now it's like, listen, Andrew's going to keep up the same antics that Cummings is doing. That culture is not going to get broken. And so he's going to do the same thing at bullying, which I really like Andrew Hanna, but you've got to have mentors that actually have some ethics and morals, and they're not ethically and morally bankrupt. That's a problem. And you got to know the difference with that. And so I get it. He has a lot of, respect for Rodney and all those good things. Great. Take those small pieces of good and then look at other prosecutors and take their good and leave his bad on the side, because this smells rotten all the way around. And so if they look and turned a blind eye to somebody who actually made violations during an actual election and they faced no criminal charges, I don't know how you can do this to Larry Savage. I mean, this was a testing. It was complete chaos. He was given permission. Yeah. I mean, you don't go to a candy store and the guy says, I don't care what you do. Take whatever candy
take a couple of pieces of candy.
You take the bubble gum, you go out the store, and then they call the cops and say you're shoplifting. How does that work, people?
Yeah. Okay, so this is really important. So, Megan, that's a really good question. Let's listen to this. Megan says, what does the law say? What's he actually charged with? Larry's charged with 2 counts. Larry's charged with count 1, Indiana Code 3-14-224, 2, destroying or misplacing a ballot, a level 6 felony. And then he's charged with 35-43-4-2A, theft. Okay, so we'll go through these. We'll go through these one by one, and we'll see what the situation is. So 35-43-4-2A, 35-43-4-2A. A person who knowingly or intentionally exerts unauthorized control over property of another person with the intent to deprive the person of any part of its value or use commits theft, a Class A misdemeanor. However, the offense it's not a felony here. Let's see, 2A. So they're saying a person who knowingly or intentionally exerts unauthorized control over property of another person. So Larry knowingly and intentionally exerted unauthorized control over. He didn't knowingly intentionally do it to throw the ballot off, but he did knowingly take the ballot. It's not like he was out of it.
No, he did not. And you know why? Because Tim Lannon said, do what you want to do.
But no. Listen, words matter. Tim said, do what you want to do. So listen to me here. When Tim said, do what you want to do, Larry then said, okay, I will. So that's when he knowingly and intentionally took control over the property, the ballot, and
Listen,
took it out of there.
I
Now,
had
here,
no
here's
idea.
what I would
I had
argue.
no idea you couldn't take a ballot. Nobody said you couldn't.
I understand that. I get it. I get it. I get it. But that doesn't mean he didn't knowingly, intentionally, Katherine. English words matter. This is the problem. You're arguing the wrong part. I don't think he had the intent to deprive a person of property. So listen, he knowingly, intentionally took the ballot. If you pick up a pencil, unless you have some kind of motor issue, unless you are in some, you've had a bullet in the brain and you can't control what you're doing, if you pick up a pencil off the table, you've knowingly and intentionally picked that up. So listen, he knowingly and intentionally picked the ballot up. My question, and I think his attorney would argue, that he did not have the intent to deprive the other person of its value or use. I don't think that he thought it was being used that way. It was a stupid action. Okay. So I just don't think, I don't think that.
I don't know. We're not going to agree on this because we have ballots actually taped to the wall in the courthouse.
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
yes. And Katherine, if you walk up and you take it off the wall, you've knowingly and intentionally taken it off the wall. It doesn't mean you've done it to deprive the use or you had the intent. That's what you don't understand. You can't tell. You're saying that he didn't have the motor function to knowingly that he was picking it up. I'm not saying he had the intent. You're not listening to the words. So I think that's beatable. But first of all, here's the thing. That's only an A misdemeanor. So that's whatever. That fight that. That's the small thing. So I'll say this. I think that's beatable because I don't think that he had the intent to deprive them of anything. I don't think he thought it was going to be used for anything. So I know he knowingly, intentionally took it because he did it, and he's not a zombie. He's not mentally challenged that I know of. I think that he knowingly and intentionally exerted control. I know that he did that because he's told me that he did it. He told me that he took the ballot. So he knowingly and intentionally took it, but he didn't have the intent to deprive them. So that I think can be beat. But the other one is probably the most important, and that is destroying or misplacing a ballot. 3142242. Okay, so let's find this.
But does that say
a person? We're going to read it.
True ballot or a sample ballot?
That's the reason we're going to read the law. 24242. Okay, a person who destroys, which he did not do, or misplaces a ballot with the intent to substitute another ballot for it or with the intent to prevent it from being counted. So he didn't destroy it, he misplaced it. A ballot with the intent to substitute another ballot for it, which he did not have that, or with the intent to prevent it. I don't think there he had the intent. So there I think is different. I don't think that. I don't even think they can make this. I don't think
that's
that.
What
I
I'm
think
saying.
that. I
this
think
whole thing, he could beat the whole thing. I don't even know what he's thinking, but whatever, he can do what he wants. I'm just saying it's not. I mean, just like Dave Sargent says, it cannot be a ballot because it cannot be used in an election. I'm going to tell you something. I don't even know what names were on the thing. Somebody handed me one. I was threading it through there. I wasn't even paying attention. I didn't even really care because it was such chaos by this point, and it was such a disaster in there. You were so frustrated. You didn't know what was going on.
I remember looking at this when they first charged him. When they first charged him, I remember looking at this, and I don't know how they actually charged him with this. To me, and I'm saying this not as somebody out in Goofballville on Facebook. I'm saying this as a man that has written up police reports, written up probable cause, who's filed charges working for the prosecutor's office. I do not know how you fit the elements of the crime of destroying or misplacing a ballot. I do not believe that's there. I think that is an overcharge. Going back to the theft, I think that because here you need all of the elements. You need all of the elements. A person who knowingly or intentionally exerts unauthorized control. They're saying it's unauthorized. Okay, we can disagree about, but they're saying it's unauthorized, and he did pick it up. So he did knowingly or intentionally exert unauthorized control over property, over the piece of paper that was the ballot of another person. It was another person's. But the element of intent to deprive the person of a part of its value or use commits theft and a misdemeanor. And I don't think that that's I think he could beat that. I think he could absolutely beat that.
Let me tell you, I remember this one point where Rodney Cummings was being interviewed by the news during this whole mess. And Rodney says, these are live ballots. He could go out there and make a bunch of them and put them into, right? I'm thinking to myself, are you kidding me? Have you met Larry? Larry's not going to, he's not that crafty to, do something like that. But if that's the case, somebody who's really good could take really good pictures of the ones on the wall and go home and create those. I mean, so, you're giving sample ballots out when people walk over there to the election office and they're walking around handing sample ballots out so people know who to vote for. This whole thing is nothing more than them thrusting their power, and they do not want this to go to court because
they've overcharged it, and now they're trying to defeat it. And they wanted him to take the pleas way back when they were trying to still plead him with major felonies and all this other stuff. And they thought he would take it and be scared and do it, and he fought it. This is another part.
But the criminals are the ones who made the ballots up and made those machine counts go.
This is Indiana law's definition of a ballot. A ballot means, 1, the paper ballot prepared, printed, and supplied for use at an election. The electronic display prepared, printed, and supplied for use on the front of an electronic voting system, or the ballot card prepared, printed, and supplied for the use in a ballot card voting system. That's the definition of a ballot. So I'm going to read it again. Ballot in the state of Indiana under Indiana Code 3523. A ballot means a paper ballot prepared, printed, and supplied for use at an election. Okay. I think a lawyer could argue that those ballots that you guys looked at and used and touched those days, they were part of the overall election, but they were not used during the election on the election day. Okay. The electronic display prepared, he didn't do anything with an electronic display, or the ballot card prepared, and he didn't do anything with the ballot card. So I think that's questionable.
Let me tell you something. But let me tell you who did something with the screen that was on display. The council did. The election board did, because they said those machines were closed until we rewatched the video, and it wasn't closed. So you lied to the people. Then they went out and made ballots, and they closed those machines later when we were all being diverted over here. So, however they want to swing it, they can swing it. This is just the MO of Madison County. They will come for you. They will come after you. They will do everything in their power to, continue to have their power, their control. I can't believe he's taking a plea deal, but I don't have any say in this. I don't really speak to Larry Savage, so it is what it is. If that's what he wants to do, then do what you do. It's his story and not mine. But I will tell you this, and as the prosecutors are watching tonight, and I'm sure many other elected officials are watching tonight, especially you, Ken Delabastide, all of you owe me an apology, because I had no idea what was going on there, and you have smeared my name through that paper as if I was some part of this whole shit show, and I was not.
Yeah,
and that was another ploy to say, hey, we've got this. No, Katherine Callahan had nothing to do with that. And Katherine Callahan does not take things that do not belong to her.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that whole, and the same thing goes for Sean Smith. He too is owed an apology.
Yeah.
To run us through the paper as if this was some kind of conspiracy. The people who need to be run through that, and you have not seen that on the front page of the paper, is what went on with those machines. Who gave the order to go make up ballots?
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
gave the order to say the testing was done when it wasn't? Let's talk about the real issue in the room.
Megan, the first definition there for theft, I don't know what you're putting that in there for, but I mean, yeah, that's the definition of theft. I think that he fits the first part of the element, but I don't think he meets the second part. And the second thing where you're saying number one takes a ballot, that's I don't know what that stuff is. That's not part of the actual charge that he's actually charged with. So I
mean, I'm just so disgusted with the whole,
yeah.
Their mentality is Burger King, we're going to have it our way. That's not how the judicial system is supposed to work.
Absolutely.
This is not how it's supposed to work, and it's completely wrong. And the only way this is ever going to change, yes, you have to get out and vote, but we've got to have candidates that we can actually vote for. And I don't know that there's going to be anybody who can run against Andrew Hanna.
Well,
I mean, that's the whole thing. But then on top of that, our machines are not secure.
Right.
It's proven. And nobody wants to adjust that. Diego knows it's true. Everybody's seen it on video. No reporter wants to pick it up. What is everybody so afraid of in this county? There's more of us than there are of them when it comes to calling it out. So, but I mean, I've seen people lose their job. I've seen them call DCS on them. I've seen, it's just been craziness of what lengths these people will go to. And that's the whole thing. Larry's in a prime spot to expose it all. But it looks like he's going to take the plea and be just like everybody else.
I don't know.
Fall in line.
I don't know.
He's going to fall in line.
I don't know, because with what he said in his thing, I don't know how he's going to be able to do that with what, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Well, you'll have all night with them tomorrow to fight more again. You'll be here tomorrow, and you'll be discussing
we'll be discussing taxes. Actually, it'll be Max the Tax in Madison County. That's the goal.
All right. Thank you, Katherine. Thank you for coming on tonight, and thank you for filling in tomorrow. I appreciate it very much. We'll see you.
Grandma better be watching tomorrow night.
What?
Grandma better be watching tomorrow night.
I'll make sure she is. All right. Very good. Thank you, Katherine. We will see you tomorrow on the show.
Good.
And I will see the rest of you on Sunday when I get back from vacation. We're going to have a good day, good time with that. You guys have a wonderful day with Katherine tomorrow. Have a wonderful weekend. God bless each and every one of you. We didn't get to the Charlie Kirk stuff. I'll talk about that on Sunday. I've got a couple of other things. There's some stuff going on at the state government that I need to talk to you about. There's a lot of things going on. This is a busy time right now, and we will cover it all Sunday and into next week. We've got a lot of budget stuff to talk about with City of Muncie, Delaware County, and everything going on there. So we will see you guys Sunday. Katherine will see you tomorrow. Tune in, watch that. God bless each and every one of you. Make sure that you smash that like button before you leave if you have not already. And hey, check out the other show too, if you would please go to the YouTube channel and subscribe there. Do that thing. It's we're coming down to it, less than 10 days, 9 days, something like that, until the episode drops. Episode 001 of the Bilbrey and Clark Show drops Saturday, September 27th, 2025 at 3 p.m. You guys take care. Good night. Goodbye.